expansion. There might be some waiting here, Virgo, because you've got the Three of Wands as the crowning card. The threes are very expansive energy. They include more than you on your own. So you might be waiting on communication from someone, by the way, because the Page of Swords is at the bottom of the deck. The Page of Swords is continually appearing and waiting for texting, emailing, waiting for contact from someone. So I think this crowning card with the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck, it's clearly about some sort of communication, okay? So maybe there's a waiting game going on because your additional guidance card is time for a nap. So what this might mean is pull yourself back, Virgo, basically. If something's not happening in your time, then the trick is just to pull your energy back and allow the process to unfold as it will. Very much like the Hanged Man, although you don't have the Hanged Man energy. But we get ourselves in a bit of a knot when we're pushing too hard for something to unfold. And that's when we get all that frustration and all that. We lose the present moment, which means we lose connection with our joy if we're trying to push something too much. So the trick, rest, rebuild your energy, basically. Now, you start the week, and there's a strange mishmash of energy, to tell you the truth here. You've also got the King and Queen of Swords, as well as the Page of Swords. So you've nearly got the whole family here, which is interesting. So a lot of mental energy. But remember, at its highest, it's the top three chakras, and he's owned his crown. So he's no longer controlled by anxiety or fear. He's let go, essentially. So let's see how you start. You start with the Ten of Discs and the Moon card. So this might be good news coming your way regarding family or housing matters. So the Moon is our deep, deep unconscious. It's our deep emotional karmic past, okay? I'm not picking that up for you here. I'm picking up for you, because it's with the Ten of Discs, that this is good news coming your way, maybe around a housing matter, maybe regarding a family member. Maybe some family members got some really good financial news, or maybe there's news coming regarding your house, but I don't know why. That's what I'm picking up. There might be a little bit of fear attached to it, Virgo, because a lot of people attach fear with the Moon card, and the reason is there's a vulnerability around the Moon. It represents nighttime, so we can't quite see what's coming next. And around the Moon card, it tends to represent very, very deep emotional attachments, and these are which brings up fear for us, and anxiety and insecurity. But there seems to be good news coming your way regarding housing matters, issues with people that you love, regarding financial matters. For some of you, there might be an inheritance, and I'm sorry if that's the case and there's been a loss. But there's definitely something regarding your security and your finances to do with family life, housing, and your deep emotional past, okay? For some Virgos, there might be communication with an air sign. This tends to be Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. Or this is you again, Virgo. You rule Mercury, which is the mind. Mercury is one of these planets who has the power to go anywhere, okay? That is that amazing thing of the mind. We can be on a beach in Hawaii, and then we can be anywhere. The mind has the power to go anywhere in the world and create anything it wants, okay, if used wisely. Because the most destructive power in the world is the mind used in not a wise way. This Queen of Swords is using the mind wisely. She has the power to cut through people, places and things that no longer serves her. So she's not a queen to wind up, Virgo. She's got mighty power. And the power this Queen of Swords has is the power of the mind, which, don't forget, is one of the biggest powers in the whole universe. So use her wisely. This could be an air sign person that you're spending time with. It's with the Eight of Wands, so there might be activities, travel, communication around this air sign queen. Or these two cards together are a classic example of setting intentions, goals, putting out your thought systems in order to create your new future, okay? Because the Eight of Wands is an energy, it can be an energy of prayer. With this Eight of Wands, I always find the Eight of Wands quite a blessed energy. And what I always say is these wands always come back to us, but we never quite know where they're going to land. So use the power of the Queen of Swords wisely. What I always say to people is we think 60,000 thoughts every hour. Is that the thoughts that you want to create your future with? And if the answer is no, Virgo, there's maybe a message here about starting to own that amazing power you have of Mercury and of the mind to create the future that you want, because you've also got the King of Swords. And what I want you to see here is they're all dressed in the same colours. Blue is the throat chakra, purple and violet are the top two chakras. So it's no longer being controlled by, I don't like the word your lower mind, okay? I can't bear that. But no longer being controlled by fear, by the need to control other people. These are all the energies that keep us locked into a very, very dense mental pattern. This is all about elevating, becoming that beautiful, beautiful energy that you have. So misunderstood, Virgo energy. And I think it's so misunderstood because we misunderstand the power of the mind. And that is what you've got to teach us, Virgo, okay? Got a Virgo sun, absolutely beautiful level of intelligence. And mastering that power of Mercury is mastering the power to go anywhere in this world and begin the process of building the life that you want. So pay attention to those 6,000 thoughts that you have and start to say, is this what I want my future to be like? And if it isn't, end it. Because you've got the Ten of Swords now. Another very misunderstood card. Because the tarot is a personal development tool, okay? And the Ten of Swords ultimately is the ending of being controlled by your thinking. So think of the cards beforehand, the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Seven, all being controlled by thinking patterns, mental looping. This is you getting to the point where it's absolutely no more. It's that jumping off place, yeah, where you learn, Virgo, to fly free. And the only way you're going to fly free is to no longer be controlled by what if this happens, what if this happens. That's the mind turned against itself, okay? And not many of us were brought up in a school that taught us the power of how to use our mind, okay? So no beating yourself up. This is a process of evolution. It comes with the Justice card, okay? So the Justice card is the Libra card, It represents the time of September and October, late September, October, when you're starting to reap what you've sown over the past few months, okay? She's got a blindfold on, which this means is you get whatever you get is what you've given, okay? The earth plane works in parity. You know, what you put out is exactly what you get back, okay? It just is, okay? And that's how, if we want to change our lives, we change our thoughts about our life. Because we start to put out different things into the world, and then we reap a different crop. I want to ask more about this Justice card with the Ten of Swords. Give me a minute. Very, very interesting, because the Nine of Cups. This is the wish-fulfilling card. So some of you are about to reap a lot of happiness, basically, emotional happiness. What keeps us back from our true heart is being too controlled by the mind, Virgo, okay? The mind is a way, it's a sort of self-defense mechanism. It's almost, we've got this belief, if we worry about everything, then it's a way of controlling it, rather than letting go and trusting in your innate heart, which you've got in Bucketsville, Virgo. Love your energy. To trusting in your heart and trusting that as you put out into the world what you want to get back, your destiny will change, because trust me, Virgo, it will. So for some of you, there's some really, really beautiful vibrations coming back. If you want to live in your heart, you've got to end your thinking, okay? And we don't do that overnight. It's a gradual process of transformation and opening up the higher mind, okay? King of Swords, because that's ultimately what he means. He's got his throne. He's taken the sword. So he's no longer controlled by the ups and downs of his thinking. Nothing controls this man anymore, because he's got 360-degree vision. He's objective, so he doesn't operate through the karmic past, which is a reactive world. He's got control of his life, basically. And Virgo, this is what I'd love you to do, because until we begin to harness that power of the mind, our planet isn't going to change. And you rule that Mercury aspect, which means you're here to teach us. Really, not me teach you, you're here to teach me. But the fact that you've got the King and Queen of Swords and that Ten of Swords is a mighty sign that something wants to change. Something wants to move to a higher vibration, because the Nine of Cups is the heart chakra. And once we move up to our heart chakra, we automatically start to change the rest of our energetic systems, and our life begins to change. Now, it's with the Seven of Wands, so you might be a little bit of cautious. You might be holding yourself back a little bit. Maybe you just need time, okay? Time to be alone, time to reflect, time to go inwards. Don't judge yourself, Virgo. That is the mind used against yourself. Because the Seven of Wands, everyone needs that guardian in the gate, someone to protect their energetic system. And my example is, if someone just came in and took your car, would you let them? And if the answer is no, you don't have to let anyone into your inner world. We all need boundaries, we all need autonomy, and we all need to protect our beautiful inner world, Virgo. Okay, and the Ace, you've got another sword. Look, the Ace of Swords. This is the gift of the higher mind. I'm sorry, Virgo, this is a really weird reading, but look at your cards.